Hello, it's the subtitles. Yes, the subtitles are working. Hooray. Hello for everyone. Hello, my name is Fiona. I use she, her pronouns, and this is Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPGs. Oh, I'm going to turn down the music. It's a little bit loud for me. Sorry, I'll get there. So if you're joining us for... Let's go down. Perfect, much better. So if you're joining us, this is Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPGs, in which Fiona, I will be looking through an RPG that's caught my eye, whether it's from the bookshelf of mystery or the Google Drive of doom. Hope you are all doing well, friends. Sorry, a little bit haphazard, as always, as a start to the stream. I had a lot to do. I've done lots of things this morning. I haven't done any of the things that were on my to-do list, though. Which is both good and bad. And then I've got a lot of stuff to do after this, so it's one of those things where you're like, oh, but I was like, no, I really want to do this. I didn't want to push another stream because, you know, I very much enjoy doing these streams, and it's a nice way to think about stuff and like go, oh, I found out something interesting today. So, but I hope you're doing well. Hello, Kieran. Hello. We'll be cooking for the first wee bit of the stream before returning. Not a problem. Hey, I have to do cooking after the stream. I've got a crock pot ready to go downstairs, but I've not done any of the prep. So, so I hope you're doing well, and I'm glad that people use the stream as a way to like get information whilst doing chores. That's the sign of a good podcast, a good discussion stream. But with all that the way, let's just go straight into it because I want to make sure we get on it because I know I warble on a bit, especially because as I discovered this morning, D&D Direct is also happening at the same time as this. And whilst I'm not like, I mean, let's face it, the last week has not been great, yet again. I think it's been not great for a lot of reasons for D&D and Wizards of the Coast and D&D Beyond. But more so that the fans, the fan base is just, once again, shows how dreadful it is. They didn't care, the OGL, how dare they, the Hadozi crisis thing, the AI art, all those were terrible things. The Pegasus stuff terrible. But the hill that people are going to die on is not being able to use a certain type of character sheet, even though everything is all there. Now, that is sort of reducing the issue quite a bit, because obviously in terms of accessibility, it's fine. But I was like, this is the hill people are going to die on. It's interesting. I think it's interesting. But also, I'm just going to say it before again. I feel like the problem is with these sort of, when you have these character sheets in D&D Beyond, because it is very, very good. Don't get me wrong. I can roll up a sheet like that. I tried to make a character sheet for Pathfinder recently, and I had to be like, no, I'm going to use a pre-gen instead, just because I didn't have time to read through all the stuff and create a character easily, even though it uses the similar steps to it, and not being able to have an online thing that I could work through easily and user-friendly is definitely that one of the biggest selling points of D&D Beyond. However, that said, is it something where ultimately D&D Beyond, it should be a place for all D&D, no matter what edition, whatever, and you should be able to toggle what kind of edition you're using, maybe, use 2014 rules or 2024 rules, whatever. But in order to include that, you have to do a lot of creating stuff and breaking stuff, and so I wonder if they'll delay the rollout of 2024 like character sheets and stuff like that because they've not thought about the user interface and how it creates and stuff like that. So it'll be very interesting. And of course, the stream today is going to be completely pre-recorded, so it's not going to have anything to do with it. So anyway, those are my quick thoughts on it. I know nothing about these things, but I know to include something like that, to be able to toggle between two different rule sets, is going to take a lot of effort. And I don't think, unless they've started doing it months and months ago, I don't think that's going to happen. So I feel like people are still going to be forced to use the new edition for the character sheets. But we will see. Anyway, we're not here to talk about D&D, but those are just my internal thoughts. Because I was like, it's going to be very hard to do this, and I can understand why people are upset about it. But people, they want to use the new system, so that's the way it works. Anyway, let's get started with this. That's enough chitter-chatter about that stuff. Word today, friends, we're going to be looking at... They rescinded that decision. Well, they did, but I don't think it's going to change that much. In order for the system to make it... you will be able to toggle. Will you be able to do that from the 3rd of September, though? Is that not the release date? I think it'd be great if you can toggle, don't get me wrong, but that means some poor coder, a group of coders somewhere is going to be busily trying to get stuff done for 2 weeks' time. But that's good to hear. I'm glad that they'll be able to toggle. And also, it's that sort of thing where maybe in future, hey, maybe if people want to play 3.5 or 4th edition, maybe you could do that as well. But that's a long set off yet. Oh, hello, the bad spot. How are you doing, my friend? Sorry, you just missed my quick rant on D&D. You always have to start off a good stream with that. enough. Let's get it out of the way because that's not the point of today, friends. We're going to be looking at something called Outgunned. Outgunned is an RPG that I didn't know anything about, but it is a cinematic action RPG inspired by the classics of action and heist genres. So from Die Hard to True Lies. Ah, my music has changed. That was what? Let's just pop you back on repeat. D&D, my favourite. Oh well. What a stream for you to come in on. No, it's so looking at Outgunned. So the reason I've picked this one for today, friends, is that Outgunned came to my attention because of the Ennies. Actually, I'm going to switch over. Why don't I switch over to... Now, careful, this is going to be a very bright, white, terrible screen because the Ennies website is rubbish. 3, 2, 1. Blah, look at that. Horrible. Like, can't see anything. But you'll notice the Ennies had Outgunned in 3 categories. We had them in Best Game, they had them in Product of the Year, and I think the studios was like Best Studio was 2 Small Mice. That's what they're called. I'm just going to try and look, because otherwise... I think they are called 2 Small Mice. Best Family Game. Hang on. Why don't I actually search for it? That might be better. 2 Little Mice is Best Game. Oh, God, and they got silver in every single... Oh, no, hang on. Get it right, Fiona. Oh, I thought they got nominated for 2 things. For 3 things, but maybe I got that wrong. But yeah, 2 Little Mice is the studio. And yeah, Outgunned got silver for Best Game and silver for Best Product behind Shadow Dark RPG, which obviously everyone now is talking about. Hello, friends. Hello, Sam Size. How are you doing, my friend? Nice to have you here. I feels like I'm slowly turning the tide against the D&D Direct that's happening right now. But yeah, so... it got silver, and no one else is really talking about it. Everyone's on about Shadow Dark RPG, which I had a quick look into, and apparently, I don't know anything about it, we'll probably do a stream about it at some point. It is just 5th edition D&D, but with some of the numbers like filed off and stuff like that. But Outgunned really intrigued me. Let's go over to this. That's not it. This is it. So that's the quick start adventure you can get. So this is, she says, this is Outgunned here. First of all, what a cracking cover. Love it. We're going to look at the quick start rules today, which you can get for free, or pay what you want, I believe, not free. Need to get that right. Yeah, pay what you want on Drive4RPG. I'm sure 2 Little Mice have a website as well that you can get. And it's also it's unusual that it has both English and Italian versions. Not many RPGs are in 2 different versions. I know 2 different languages. Obviously there are them out there, but to do it both English and Italian, presumably that's the home studio where it's from, where they're based, is in Italy. So that's really cool. I really like that. So in a world where the ruthless villains, with a capital V, plot in the shadows to steal nuclear launch codes and bring entire nations to their knees, where crooks in suits hire personal armies to amass wealth greater than anyone can imagine, and where someone decided to kill the wrong dog. I've seen that film. Only a hero can save the day. So Outgunned is a cinematic action RPG inspired by the classics of the action and heist genre. From Die Hard to True Lies, passing through James Bond, Lethal Weapon, Kingsman. I did quite enjoy Kingsman. Not great. Marley and Me, of course Marley and Me, the best heist film. Ocean's 11, Hot Fuzz, and the latest John Wick. I did see the latest John Wick. There's a bit in it which is in Paris, and it's up the highest street in Paris, and you go, that's going to take a while. You go up the street twice. Your back hurts when you look at it. So in Outgunned, players take on the role of action heroes facing terrible odds. They will be constantly surrounded by enemies whilst trying to carry out their mission, but being robbing a casino or saving the day. It features a game system called Director's Cut. What a really interesting name for a game system. A set of mechanics using a small pool of 6-sided dice to determine the outcome of the hero's actions. Okay. When rolling dice, your goal is not to score the highest or lowest possible number, but to roll 2s, 3s, and 4s of a kind. Ooh! Oh, I like that idea. Like you matching. That's quite fun. Nice. I've got some really nice art there as well. Oh God, that staircase scene. Yeah, you know when you think to yourself, look, I love Keanu Reeves. I think he's great, and you go, don't do it, Keanu. Goes up, it's an incredible montage. All right, he got to the top. Spoilers, he does not get to the top. And you sort of go, what? I will say, John Wick. This is the other thing. I'm not a big fan of action films, and I just find them bit what's the word? I find them a bit over the top, etc. That said, I really have really enjoyed Dimension 20's Never Stop Blowing Up, because it takes all those silliness, that tropes, and like just makes it bigger, and that's what I like. I like the silliness of it, but I feel like sometimes when you see these films, they take them way too seriously. I rewatched Ocean's 11 very recently, and I was just there going like, God, there's no women in it. we have obviously Julia Roberts, who's I think is great in everything, and I'm like, she doesn't get any screen time at all, and is just there for as the sexy lampshade, and you're like, what a shame. Ocean's 8, I really enjoyed for obvious reasons. Same with Kingsman. I enjoyed the idea of Kingsman, don't get me wrong. I was by the second one, I was like, God, that's really shit for women, isn't it? So that's why I'm not a big fan of these action sequences and stuff, because I usually it's very light on decent female parts. However, I'm very interested in this system again because of the any stuff, but also like, you know, okay, change my mind, that sort of thing. So we're going to look at this today. We're going to look at the quick start today, and I should always do my disclaimers at the top. So we've looked through the sort of beginning copy here. I think the copy's quite good. I really like it how it mentions what the system is straight away. The director's cut, I really like that name. We're going to look at, obviously, the quick start. We'll go through as much of it as we can in an hour and a half-ish. We'll also, I'm not a game designer by any means, but I read a lot of games. So if I, think of it more as critique than criticism, because I don't know what it takes to design a game, but, like I said, it's just something that I will find interesting and maybe want to know more about. And that's why we go through sort of these things, and we check the accessibility of stuff as well. Because a lot of the times we are looking at these things online. The final thing I was going to say is that content warnings. There's probably going to be violence described in lots of detail in these books, and heists in general. If anything comes up, I'll try and do like a content warning as I read, but, take care of yourselves, because I appreciate, you might be like, I don't want to, I want to, tell you what, if you need to take a step back, the D&D Beyond Direct stream is happening right now, so you can go check that out. All right, friends, let's go over to, she says, trying to find the Outgunned. No, I was going to press the button to end the stream. That is not how this works. Gosh, all over the place today. Let's go straight into it. So, this quick start is 71 pages, which is decent size for a quick start, and no alt text, unfortunately. Again, it's just the way of the world. But what a cracking image! Again, it's very reminiscent of that John Wick sort of that poster image of like him being surrounded by all the guns, which I really love, and like looking to the camera, really cool. Yeah, and got Outgunned, 0 to hero is the tagline, and then quick start rules would be nice. Again, I'm always a big fan of is putting the publisher's name or the writer's name on the front cover, because it's just nice to be like, where can I get this? Outgunned RPG does yield good results, obviously, but I just think anytime just put your name on the front. They got a project by 2 little mice. Got some credits there, all good. Excellent. All right, and we got, you know what? Already I'm like, it's nice and clean, and look at the spacing. I can read that really well. Old woman here. All right, let's look at the table of contents. So we've got, presumably, our introduction. We've got Outgunned. Oh, look, it's hyperlinked as well. Very good. Always a tick in my book. So we've got Outgunned is the thing. Character creation, straight in on page 7 there. Then we've got time for action, so what the main game mechanics is. Some dangerous rules, so maybe some more advanced mechanics there. And then we've got an introductory one-shot at the back there with some pre-gens. All makes sense for about 70 pages, which is good. What I quite like is these, like the different colours here. So presumably these indicate like stuff that maybe the red is like the most important, like a priority to read that first, like making character and like impending danger. So like those are stuff that maybe the GM has to look at, and then time for action, etc. Maybe that's secondary. You don't have to read the one shot. Perhaps maybe this is for maybe the red is for players and the blue is for GMs. I don't know. Interesting thought there. But yeah, look at the spacing around it. It makes good use of the spacing. I can read it easily. It's not in the font's fine. It's that sort of action, like Dutch angle is what I'm thinking when I look at this. So yeah, good so far. All right, I like the cutout of the font of the sorry, words are not my strong point today. Cutout of the thing, except that is not that those headings are images. They're not text. Makes sense, but again, that's where the alt text would come in. You'd put like what the image is, and like the silhouette stuff as well. That is again very James Bondy. I'm thinking now of, oh, what's it called? Archer as well. That's sort of like those starting montages. So that's pretty good. All right, let's zoom in and have a read, shall we? We've already read this a little bit before, but why don't we do it again for shits and giggles? So, in a world where ruthless villains plot in the shadows to steal nuclear launch codes and bring entire nations to their knees, where crooks in suits hire personal armies to amass wealth greater than anyone can imagine, where absolute madmen laugh whilst playing with human lives, or blackmail the White House with outlandish demands, or where someone decides to kill the wrong dog, only a hero can save the day. I would assume villains and heroes, those are like NPCs and PCs, like names for them. And I'm not talking about a hero in shining armor. No. We need a real tough guy here. A hero with lead running with lead running through their veins. Lead. A hero who crawls in air ducts. A hero who speeds on a city bus doing 50 miles per hour at every hour of the day. A hero who fights alone against dozens of goons and walks away with a dashing cut on their cheek as they look to the camera. The type of hero who walks in slow-mo whilst everything behind them explodes. Are you a hero worthy of an action movie? Probably not. I mean, you just look like someone who's 2 days away from retirement. But we still have many pages to get through. Before we're done with this guide, I will take you from zero to hero. I like it. Again, it reminds me of when we looked at last week that the Rats RPG we looked at. It has that tone, that sort of like, you know, in a world, that sort of like tone from the author or from the world setting in some way. So I like that as an introduction. Again, it would be something maybe I would read aloud to the players, perhaps, as we were about to begin the one shot. So yeah, director's cut. So Outgunned is a cinematic action TTRPG inspired by the classics of action and heist drama, from Die Hard to True Lies, passing through James Bond, Lethal Weapon, Kingsman, Ocean's 11, Hot Fuzz, and the latest John Wick. In Outgunned, players take on the roles of action heroes facing terrible odds. They will be constantly surrounded by enemies whilst trying to carry out their mission, be it robbing a casino or saving the day. It features a game system called Director's Cut, a set of mechanics using small pools of six-sided dice to determine the outcome of heroes' actions. Can you guys see that? Absolutely not. When rolling dice, your goal is to score not the highest or the lowest possible number, but to roll 2, 3s, and 4s of a kind. Everything you need to know. Okay, seeing I have very little time to take you from zero to hero, we better get started with the basics. Who are we? Well, one of the players will be the director of the game. Cool GM name there. That's me back. Big fan of the matching. Big fan of matching as the primary dice mechanic, and I'm particularly fond of it being bilingual. Yes, absolutely, Kieran. Welcome back. I hope dinner was good. What was it? So one of the directors of the game, and they will be tasked with setting the scene of the world and playing supporting characters, extras, enemies, and even the villain. Others will play heroes, people ready to get down to business to save the day. See, I was going to say that even these titles they're screen readable. So, where are we? So, Outgunned is set somewhere in a cooler version of our world. Amazing. Maybe New York, Hong Kong, or London. You know, those three big places. Nowhere else exists outside those three places. Truly, any city featured in an action genre can be the perfect backdrop for an adrenaline-filled adventures. What if the President of the United States was three-time Oscar winner Meryl Streep? I don't see anything wrong with that. Damn straight. When are we? Where we are going, we don't need dates. Outgunned is set in a time teetering between the 80s and 90s, where everything is exactly as we remember, but way cooler and probably less problematic. They forgot the fourth city of Tokyo. Absolutely, Brian. Foolish. What about those too drive, too furious? That's not it. Too fast, too furious. I hope you're well, Brian. Nice to have you here. Where were we? So when are we? Mobile phones? Why not? Smartphones? Absolutely not. Internet? Sure. How else are you gonna supposed to hack the system? Social media? Oh, hell to the no. What's the goal? So carry out the mission. Someone might be trying to find their daughter. Someone else might be trying to clear out a bank vault. Are you here to avenge your dog? Your dog even? Fine by me. Oh, and I see the quick start includes a Discord bot. Obviously can't speak to its functionality, but it suggests they've put in some effort to help with online play. Oh, I did not see that. That's pretty good. With the yeah, I'm a bit, as we said before when we looked at, I think it was Hollows, that idea of having a free TTRPG, sorry, VTT like module that you could use it to play online. That was like, oh, that's interesting because that is more of a physical element. But I love the fact, yeah, for this, having a bot which will tell you about the matching numbers, that's really clever. Ah, that's pretty awesome. How many players do we need? So beside the director, the game is designed for a group of 3 to 4 heroes, but can be easily played with just 2 or 5 heroes without needing many changes. In the core rulebook, you'll find special rules to play in 2, so director and hero, or with more than 5. Okay, great. Sounds good. How many sessions? The game is designed for short cinematic campaigns of 6 to 8 sessions, and given its quick and easily accessible nature, is perfect for one-shots. For longer campaigns, I recommend you string together several shorter stories to create a cinematic saga. Oh, look at that in bold of sorts. You know, like Die Hard 1, 2, 3, etc. Nice. I love how, yeah, because obviously it's using references to big pop culture references, right? So, you know, like clearing out the Venture Dogs, that's the John Wick stuff. Clearing out a vault, so Ocean's 11. So I like the fact that it's like, yeah, we're going to use these touchstones, because then you'd be like, oh, I don't know what that means. You can go away. It's actually said what it is, and I'm sure there'll be a list in the actual book about like, hey, why don't you have a read of these books or watch these films? I'll say that. Oh, excuse me. I'd say that's it for now. Over the next couple of chapters, we'll go through the hero sheet, how to roll dice, and how to deal with enemies and chases. Finally, I'll also give you a one-shot ready to be played, so that you can spring into action and prove what you're made of. Amazing. There you go. Simple. That's the first 2 pages. We now know exactly what this game is about. We know vaguely what the rules, what the main mechanic's going to be, so we can prepare for that, and the general sort of vibes of the game. Nice. Again, something I would just give out to the players, perhaps. Oh no, I did see this earlier, so I'll show you guys. I love this. Oh, look at that 2 spread that you'd get. It actually bloody works. They've actually worked out on the PDF how to do it. I love it. I would like this as a picture or something like that. A poster, you know what I mean? Really cool. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that because I was like, that's very cool. So, making of a hero. Zoom in a little bit. Ooh, enhance. There we go. So, the first step to becoming a true hero is filling in your hero sheet. The admin. Yes. It's a red and white piece of paper with everything you need to get into the action. How interesting, a visual description of what it is. We tend not to have those in RPGs. So that's quite nice. It goes, this is what it looks like. It's going to be red and white. The left side of the sheet describes who you are and what you can do. Here you'll find your personal data, your attributes and skills, your grit, and your feats. That's everything you need to know when you're rolling dice. Then on the right you have 3 sections. The top part shows all your resources and the experiences you will accumulate on your adventure. The middle section allows you to keep track of your current conditions. Finally, the lower part of all is for all the items you carry around, your cash, and your ride if you had one. Amazing. You just read that out to your players straight away. You don't have to be like, oh, this is, you don't have to point at it, or you have, a lot of games don't have that. They just assume people are going to read their character sheet and know what it is. So I like the fact you've got something that is literally a visual guide. And I think if I go on to the next page, there's an example here, which is pretty good. And so it just explains all this. So we don't have that thing about, sometimes we have that number system where they put a 1 and it goes, this is your personal information. Actually having a descriptive way to go through it. So everything you need to roll dice thing, it's on the left. It's these things here. And then, information, stuff that you'll need actively in the game, it's on the right. Amazing. I love this little cache thing down here. That's pretty good. Again, also this character sheet. God, it's so clear, isn't it? It's so clean. It's not full of stuff. I think it's because recently I did have to play Pathfinder and I just looked at the character sheet and I went, no. So it just looks really clean. But again, there's no alt text on this image. So that is a point against it. But let's go back up. I want to see what it says. So we're going to go into each section in detail. So we're going to look at personal data here. So this is everything you need to know about your hero. Anything else you'll have to live through or lean into the game. Anything else you'll have to live through or learn during the game. I was going to say lead into. We don't take lengthy backstories here, only facts, actions, and surprising plot twists. Amazing. So I guess the red is like an example of what you can do here. So we've got it in red. So name is the name of the character, the role and trope. In Outgunned, there are 10 roles and 18 tropes to choose from. When creating your hero, choose a role and a trope to determine your starting skills. So we've got example here of agent and trope of last Boy Scout. Oh, interesting. Job. Your job gives you access to information, to contacts, or to specific knowledge. And then you've got your ages. In this quick start, we'll only look at adult heroes. Yeah, so no teenagers and no old-timers. Although, I mean, what's that film with the older ages in? Is it Red? Is that the one I'm thinking of? It has Morgan Freeman in. But I like that. So instantly you're like, okay, so it doesn't have to be the traditional, die-hard people are adults, etc. You could have those teenagers. So it could be like, what's the, Spy Kids, like, those sort of levels of like kids doing stuff and like beating up and saving the day because the adults are too busy with stuff. Catchphrase, your tagline, your creed, the words that guide you when it's time for action. Basically, your entire identity summed up in a sentence. With all due respect, to hell with the rules. I love that. I'm always a big fan of catchphrases and like little words and stuff like that. And to the point where I would easily give inspiration or give an advantage on something because someone has used a catchphrase that they've come up with in a cool moment. Big fan of that. And then we have flaw. So not even heroes can be perfect. Your flaw is the thing that keeps you from tripping up throughout your adventure. So I'm never off the clock for this particular character here, Johnny Reed. I zoom out a little bit. Again, it uses the space very well. We don't have, sometimes when we looked at these RPGs, there's like massive white gaps or big wide gaps, and like the images aren't there. Here it's using up a lot of the space, and we've got like thin columns and everything, but it doesn't feel like it's using the space economically, and I really like it. And even here, right, we've got this like the heart thing. This is using the hero sheet. Oop, the hero sheet that's going just straight across the thing, right? So if I had a look, like it goes straight across like that. So again, it makes a really good spread. But it isn't, it's just using all the space. And you know what I've just noticed? Look at this thing on the side here. It looks like a folder. That's really cool. I like that. All right, back to single spread. Let's enhance. Catchphrases rule. I agree, Brian. Gotta have a good catchphrase. Even if it's catchphrase. Your job can prove useful when you need to gather information or ask for help. So, for example, Johnny can call into play his contacts with the police to get tips about the case he's working on, or to get access to the evidence locker. Your catchphrase is a clear indication of how you should interpret your hero, and the director can use it as a benchmark for when to reward you with adrenaline or spotlight. There you go. That's exactly what I was saying, like some sort of inspiration. So that's probably what we've got. So, for example, let's say Johnny decides to tell off his superior and hand over his gun and badge. Clearly, he deserves a spotlight for that. Red text against a white background is often difficult to read on a screen, but the slightly browner colour for example text works well here and is not much more difficult for me than the black text. Yeah, here, yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing I would do, perhaps, I mean, it makes sense, but maybe you'd have all the example stuff in a separate box, perhaps, to make it like highlight a little bit. But yeah, it is slightly darker, isn't it? So that's pretty good on that front. I agree. Yeah, because sometimes it's almost like an off-white, right? It's that sort of like little it looks like a manila folder. So it's not that bright white that we had with the Any Award website when I was like, be warned, it's bright and you can't read anything. Enhance everything. Your flaw, on the other hand, is something you'll have to deal with or overcome on your adventure. You can reference your flaw to guide your interpretation of your hero, and the director can call your flaw into play to impose a -1 on relative rolls. Johnny, for example, is never off duty, and this could prevent him from taking a breather when a situation calls for it, or make him exceedingly suspicious towards his own allies. Oh, and there you go, so this is the image here. And again, the text, I think other than this bit up here, that's sort of like, again, maybe not as important, but I think I'd make just that little bit of text a little bit bigger, perhaps, because everything else is quite big, just even from a glance here, looking at it. But in Outgunned, you'll find a list of roles, and each role will have suggested jobs, catchphrases, great, so you don't have to worry about coming up with too many things, and flaws to guide you as you mould your hero. So amazing. So we're not going to presumably we're not going to look at, maybe it's going to give some examples of stuff, perhaps, as we go into it. Maybe not all of the stuff, it's obviously the quick start, but well, there we go. look at that, you got like little icons of rides down there as well. Like, mine's a boat. It's just like, it's like, all right, we need to get away from it. Who's got transport? It's like, well, I've got the boat, but we're landlocked. Roll example, excellent. So the agent. So we've got examples of what this could mean, and or where we could see this sort of role happen. So a police officer, a special agent from the FBI, a firefighter, a secret agent, or an undercover cop. Agents are heroes with a badge who work for a government agency of some kind. Some of them are by the book and uphold the law and order. Others are hotheads in the search of justice. Many of them wear mirrored sunglasses and threadbare shirts. All of them have nerves of steel and are always ready to step in when duty calls. And here we go, we've got some examples of here. I was going to say job officer, police officer, secret agent, double agent. Oh, a double agent, interesting. I'm not a hero. I'm just doing my job. Not in my city. Give it here. I'll do it. I like, you know what? That's a good one. Give it here. I'll do it. I like that. That instantly to me means that player constantly doesn't trust anyone around them in terms of the other characters, but will just always jump to do the action, which will lead into trouble. So I do like that as that's a very active one. And then not in my city. I like that as well. The flaws here we've got: I'm too arrogant and overconfident. I always trust the wrong people. And I never accept help or don't work well with others. There we go. And then here we've got skills. We've got nerves. And then choose 2 of the feats. Get down. Excellent. Selfless. And then the skills. So I'm sure it'll come to here. Maybe this is where we get proficiency and stuff. But we've not got that so far. So skills: endure, fight, stunt, cool, drive, shoot, leadership. Detect, heal, awareness. You know what? Maybe there is a market. Sorry, this is way off topic. For CV and resumes, maybe we just make them into character sheets. Can you imagine different kinds of character sheets? D&D, Pathfinder, something like this, and then giving it over as your resume and seeing what people said. Probably won't get hired, but it doesn't matter. Look at the detail on this image, by the way. You've got this guy, cuts and bruises. Amazing tattoo. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. It's probably going to get pixelated quite... Oh no, it's not that pixelated at all. Look at that. Again, so artwork here has been deliberately drawn so that it's not going to get pixelated when you zoom in or resize it. That's great. Look at the colours on that. Really cool. I like the activeness of it. That shirt has not been ironed, Look, I don't watch these films, so I have to go against fashion choices. Oh, it's going to say what the example is. Fantastic. Well, let's have a look at the 2-page spread here. So again, pretty good in terms of spacing. So I like that. But let's have a look, see what does it say. So that's an example of one. Go back to this one. Zoom in, enhance. I enhanced too much. So here on the left, you can see an example of a role. In Outgunned, you'll find 10 roles you can choose from when building your hero. We have the ace, the agent, which is what we looked at. And I can understand why they might have picked the agent as a general one to show, because obviously that's one we'd probably connect with more, like Jason Bourne, James Bond, that sort of thing. So people are like, yes, I have seen a version of that. The brain, the charmer, the commando, the criminal, the fighter, the nobody, the sleuth, and the spy. Each role grants you 1 attribute point and 10 different skill points. Additionally, roles allow you to choose between 2 available feats and suggest possible jobs, catchphrases, and flaws for your hero. After choosing your role, you can personalise your hero by choosing one of 18 available tropes. Tropes are short labels inspired by classic action movies and other media, and they allow you to add a dash of personality to your hero. So for example, in our list of tropes you'll find a jerk with a heart of gold, Good Samaritan, cool but troubled. Well, tag yourself, guys. I'm just a jerk. Each trope will grant you 1 point in 1 of 2 attributes, 8 skill points, and 1 feat to choose from a list. Okay, so you got your role and your trope. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. I understand. After choosing your role and trope, you'll have 2 additional skill points to place as you prefer. Then you are ready for action. So here's an example of the trope. I like how here it says last Boy Scout or Girl Scout. It's again, I'm trying to be it's trying to make sure it covers both areas, perhaps. Again, maybe just last Scout, but it's hard. I know what it's trying to do with that trope, and it's not necessarily a gender neutral trope, or at least general neutral phrasing of a trope, perhaps. So this is an example, so let me help you. It's no trouble at all. They don't make heroes like you anymore. You have good morals, an old school education, and a pinch of healthy innocence. So your attributes, so you add 1 to either brawn or nerves. You got these 1 feat to choose from, so wild heart, die hard, selfless or military training, and then 8 more skill points as well. All right, straightforward so far. Tagging myself as Good Samaritan. Brian, yeah, you're the heart of gold, actually. I think Good Samaritan and heart of gold. I'll take the jerk part. How's that? Attributes and skills. So, if you want to show the world what you've made of and simultaneously save the day, pats on the back and good intentions won't be enough. Oh, sorry, Brian. The road to action is paved with harsh trials and you have to face them. Luckily, you can rely on 5 attributes and 20 skills to help you overcome any obstacle. Every time you find yourself picking up the dice, you have to choose 1 attribute and 1 skill to add up their scores. That's how many dice you have in your pool. Right, I see. Very straightforward. So here are the 5. Do you want to say 5? No, there's a 4 there. There'll be another one. Oh, there's another one on the next page. So we've got brawn. So use brawn for all actions that require physical effort. And then under brawn, we have the 4 skills that are sort of connected to it. And we've got endure, fight, force, and stunt. What's the difference? So endure is to handle pain, keep going despite exhaustion, hold your liquor. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I'm not, again, I guess you have to have that as an example. I'm not a big fan of it. Fight, so fight enemies barehanded or in close quarters. Force is hoist, push, pull, or break things. You know, hoist things. You're only a jerk when it comes to walloping at PCs in a horror game. But that's what players sign up for. Hey, well, you heard it here first. Brian says it, so it must be true. Nerves. Stunt is jump or run recklessly, dodging bullets. Nerves. You need nerves of steel for actions that require quick reflexes and steady hands. So this is your dexterity general sort of attributes. So we've got cool. Keep your cool, hold still, or show courage. Drive. Drive a car or bike. Pilot a plane or a helicopter. Those are all the same things, aren't they? Shoot. So shoot with pistols and rifles. Throw objects with precision. Get that dart. 180. Survival. Find your bearings in the wilds, improvise weapons or shelter, and hunt for your dinner. Smooth. Show off how smooth you are whenever you have to interact with other people or want to manipulate them. Flirt. To seduce someone or use your charm. Again, we just got to be a little bit careful, that sort of thing. That's fine. Again, consent, etc. Leadership. So inspire, give orders, or intimidate people. Speech, persuade or deceive someone or carry out negotiations. And style, show style and elegance, clean up nice, or prove your artistic talent. God, can you imagine like putting that again? We talked about that CV resume character sheet style, and it's just like 1 point in it. It's very rare that you clean up nice. Focus, so you'll need to focus to concentrate, to notice details, and to recall memories and knowledge. Detect, so you find clues and intel, notice details, sniff out lies. So that's focus detect is probably going to be your perception check for most of it. Focus heal, give a first aid or comfort someone. Fix is fix a computer or a car, turn off a security system or hack into a server. I'm in. And know, remember information you learnt, recall details and other useful knowledge. And then finally, the most important of all the attributes, crime. Your aptitude for crime will come in handy when acting in secret or to notice incoming threats. How interesting! So we've had like strength, dexterity, charisma, intelligence, crime. Awareness. So keep your eyes open and ears open. Notice incoming threats. Interesting. So that's almost a different kind of a perception check there. Dexterity. So perform sleight of hand, steal something, pick a lock. Stealth. Hide, sneak, or move quietly. And streetwise. Interact with criminals. Know how to navigate through seedy neighborhoods and deal with organized crime. You'll find each skill under the attribute it's paired with most often, but you can always use any skill with any attribute. Always good to know that. Alright, straightforward enough. And yeah, as it said, just attribute and skill, and that's your dice pool of d6s. Amazing. feats. When getting into action, you can rely on 3 feats chosen amongst those of your role and trope. So, for example, Johnny chooses the feats Gunslinger and Die Hard amongst the ones offered by his role as agent, and then Selfless from his list tied to the trope of Last Boy Scout. Most feats grant you a free re-roll when you act in a specific way. This greatly increases your chances of success, but we'll talk more about that in the next section. Other feats will allow you to take on special actions or grant you other advantages, allowing your hero to stand out from the crowd. In Outgunned, you'll find a long list of feats to personalise your hero and let them become more powerful over time. Nice. Nice. Ooh. Oh no, who? Get out of here. Get out of here, friend. We don't have, no one wants, I don't need best views. I don't need them. Goodbye. Goodbye, friend. Thank you, Nightbot, for keeping us safe. Every time it's like, want top views? Click here. And I'm like, mate, I'm competing against D&D Direct. I'm not going to get top views. Experiences. The life of a hero won't stop at covering you in bruises or riddling you with bullet holes. It will also leave you permanently changed by your many experiences. So while playing Outgunned, you will have a chance to collect experiences that will influence your dice rolls, either positively or negatively. There are 4 types of experiences: achievements, scars, reputation, and bonds. We'll not discuss experiences in the quick start, but you'll find all the relevant rules and some useful tips in Outgunned. Nice. I do think the only thing I would say, maybe put Outgunned a core rulebook, because this is, for me, this is Outgunned, you know. So anyway, but that's good to know. Like, it's like, okay, these are the things not important for now because you're only going to be doing a one shot. So I'm like, I appreciate the transparency of that. Okay, so grit is what allows you to run through the bullets while everyone else is huddled in a corner. It's only thanks to your grit that you can have danger for breakfast and walk away in slow motion whilst everything behind you explodes. Your 12 boxes of grits are the only thing between you and death, so hang on to them. We'll talk more about them in the upcoming section of Impending Danger. Once you're out of grits, you run the risk of being left for dead, and the only thing that can save you is a spin of the roulette wheel, of the death roulette wheel. Wait, hang on. There's a spin of the death roulette. Wow. Oh, what's that? It'll become harder and harder to save your bacon. Oh, I wonder if that's you roll a d. You cross out a number, you roll a d6, and then only if you get any number but that number you get. I'm guessing. Oh, that'd be fun. Presumably you'll look there. It doesn't matter how you feel. What matters is how others see you. Bit of reverse advice for normal. You're a hero, and even when your friends start doubting you, it means you're in really bad shape. In the You Look section of your sheet, you can note down conditions you get on your adventures. Conditions impose a -1 to specific dice rolls and can be accumulated as consequences of your failures. Each condition can be removed in a different way, but we'll not go into further details in this quick start. Again, it feels very informal, this, doesn't it? It feels very familiar, but it's like it's like information first. But you don't need to know it. But here's something that will, it's on your character sheet. Don't worry about it. Rather than just giving you all this information or just saying, we don't look at these things. I very much appreciate it because it's like, oh, well, I might want to know about these conditions a bit more, Here we go. Death roulette. So next to your conditions is a 6-bullet cylinder. The more cylinders it fills up, the closer you are to doom. So whenever you risk dying, the director rolls a numeric 6-sided die. If the result is higher than the number of lethal bullets in your roulette, then you survive miraculously. But also adds another bullet to the cylinder. You see where I'm going with this? Thanks to the death roulette wheel, you always have a chance to escape your doom, but this will become increasingly more difficult. Even a cat will run out of lives sooner or later. That's very cool. I really like that. Okay, adrenaline. When you get a success against all the odds, when you make a great sacrifice, when you give everyone strong emotions, or when you're at the center of an epic and captivating scene, the director can reward you with +1 adrenaline, which is like this little lightning bolt here, which is a little symbol. That's nice. Up to a maximum of 6. You can spend your adrenaline to gain several advantages. So spending 1 adrenaline. See, this is the thing here. So if this was an image, which it is, funnily enough, but there's no all text. But then it just said get +1 to an action roll, etc. Then we wouldn't be able to know, is that just 1 adrenaline, but here it actually describes what it is. So spend 1 adrenaline to gain +1 to an action or reaction roll. So presumably 1 dice. And same thing here as well. Oh, Brian says, feels like how a GM would help new players focus during a one-shot on the stuff that's relevant for a one-shot. That's nice. Yeah, I agree. It feels, again, the way it's been written, like obviously we're going through it at pretty much top-notch speeches now, but like I could just lift all these things going, okay, experiences. So it's, for your information, these 4 things, don't worry about them. But it's in such a concise, efficient way that you're not having to remember lots of things. So you could easily read out quite a lot of this quick start to the players. I don't think it's too like wordy or anything like that. And again, remember this is in Italian as well. It's bilingual, this RPG. So the fact that they've probably done 2 copies of this version and then streamlined it for being able to say it out loud to people, it's pretty good. So yeah, spend 1 adrenaline to activate the special ability of some feats, and then spend 6 immediately to get a spotlight. Interesting. Yeah, so that too is an image there. Because it says spend 6 adrenaline, we go, right, we know what that is then. Better than some other RPGs we looked at recently that just gave the image and then you was like, well, I don't know what this means. So adrenaline is an important resource that you should use very often. If you get to the end of a session without giving or using a handful of adrenaline, it means you're being too stingy. In Outgunned, you'll find everything you need to know about managing, awarding, and using adrenaline. Okay, so again, we've got the basics here of the 3 kinds of advantages we can use to reward adrenaline for this one shot, but there'll be there's more ways of doing it and more advice on how to do it in the main rules perhaps. So I appreciate that. This feels like, I guess I'm using it, it's both 2 players and GMs, I guess. I feel like that's, managing, awarding, yeah, I guess it's hard to say, hey, GMs, get the core rulebook and you'll find out more stuff. I think, yeah, having free ways of using it for this one-shot it works well. Whoop. Spotlight. So the moment comes in the life of every hero when they take matters into their own hands and do something truly epic. That's what the spotlight is for. This extremely precious resource allows you to become the center of attention and surprise everyone with your next move, with no need of rolling dice or taking chances. You can have up to 3 spotlights at the same time and can spend them to get extreme success automatically instead of rolling dice. Save a friend who has lost at death roulette. Oh, very good. When you do this, your friend adds another lethal bullet to their roulette wheel, but at least they won't be dead. Fair enough. Remove a condition of any kind, including broken. Do whatever you want. If you want to do something that you couldn't, discuss it with the director. If you both agree, the spotlight makes everything possible. The director can grant you a spotlight as a reward for a genius, crazy, or mind-blowing move. Bonus points if you called into play your catchphrase, or even better, your flaw. Nice, I like it. And then yeah, extreme success. Presumably that's if like all your dice have rolled like 4 of a kind, All right. Ugh, I'm already going. Oh no, weapons and gear. Okay, it'll be fine. We've done well so far. Okay, so in Outgunned, there are 2 different kinds of useful items: weapons and gear. We call all tools that can help you in a specific circumstance gear. So for example, a grappling hook helps you to climb, whilst a bulletproof vest helps you to avoid bullets. Could you imagine if you did get a bulletproof vest and it was like, no, I'm here to help you get up that wall? You can rely on a helpful item of gear. Oh, if you can rely on a helpful item of gear, the director can grant you one of the following benefits depending on the circumstances. So gain a +1 to the roll. Gain a success automatically without rolling the dice. Gain the requisites for a roll that would otherwise be impossible. We'll not discuss the help mechanics in detail in this quick start. For now, just know that anything helpful grants you a +1 to the roll, and the rest will be explained in Outgunned. Weapons are pistols, rifles, and the occasional sharp blade that will help you keep up with the hardened goons of all times. All kinds, even. On top of a short definition, weapons have a range expressed as 4 numbers. So, for example, we've got a shotgun here, it's a large caliber, and it's got short range. We've got +1 for melee, +1 for close, -2 for medium, and then an X for long. Presumably because obviously less effective the further away you're from your target. Here it tells us here. The modifiers for each range represent how many dice you should add or subtract from your dice pool when shooting at that range. If you want to shoot more, go to chapter bang 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 in the section impending danger. I've got some fun chapter titles, I'm not going to lie. Ooh. Cash. I like that sort of stuff. On your sheet, you will also find a section dedicated to keep items in storage. Well, let's just skip this for now. Nice, okay. Depending on your role and job, you will begin the game with a set number of cash points. Cash represents the money you can easily access and will be instrumental to allow you to buy gear or information and to bribe people. Usually, an item or service will have a cost between 1 to 3 cash, depending on its value and availability. But in Outgunned, you can also meet less conventional traders who will allow you to buy more limited types of gear at very convenient prices. And then you'll ride. So already, like, again, it's the quick stop, but we've not gone into too much detail about like all the different guns or anything like that. It just literally said like, this is what you need to know. You don't need to know anything else, just that these ranges you add to your dice pool. And why, gear, it just does this. We don't have those big tables of stuff which explain everything. Like sometimes you probably would get this in the core rulebook, but it's just explain it simple, straightforward. Because sometimes gear takes blooming ages to get through, and I'm just like, that's boring. Don't care. I don't know if it was an inventory thing, because sometimes there is on these games, but maybe not here. We've got Ride next. Speed races and thrilling chases are an everyday occurrence in the life of a hero. As such, it is essential you procure at least one ride worthy of the name, as well as someone who can drive it. Rides have 4 main features. We've got a name, so the maker, model, or nickname of the ride. A type, so car, motorbike, boat, helicopter/plane, or armoured vehicle. Speed, which is valued 1 to 3. This represents your starting speed in a chase. And armour. This represents how many hits the ride can sustain before blowing up. Oh. Most rides can sustain 3 hits, which is this little red shield thing here. But some can rely on additional protective plating, which is a shield here, which is a different colour. Again, it's hopefully the screen reader will be able to read out that it's some sort of shield symbol, but in red. It's a shield symbol, but in grey. But again, maybe an alt text thing needed to happen there as well. To learn more about rides, zoom to chapter Need for Speed in section Impending. Zoom. I like that. It's like it's theming it, you see? And similar, if I zoom out, again, using up all the space. So this could have easily been someone could have just left it as a blank bit. Someone's actually commissioned a bit of art and then resized it so it fits in quite well. So I really like that as a result. Again, would love some alt text. That's my only complaint with these things. Okay, so that's character creation. Easy, done. Look at this image though. Amazing. I love that. What a great, cool, again, image that could be like a poster or something like that. Or maybe if they had like a GM screen, you'd have all these pictures, like these sort of cinematic, sort of media res moments. Very cool. Love it. So time for action. So all right, so we're going to look at the main mechanics now, I think. Ooh, and it's in blue. Alrighty. So dice are like bullets. You won't need them often, but when you do, it's best if you know how to use them. And if you want to be a hero, you better get used to this, because the road to success is paved with dice and lead. When playing Outgunned, you shouldn't roll at every turn. Dice rolls are reserved for situations where there is something at stake, if you catch my drift. Shooting from a speeding bike, sneaking into a vault, jumping off a skyscraper, bluffing with the police, dodging bullets, spinning your car 180, flirting with the enemy. These are the sort of things that require a good roll of the dice. I like that. Some good examples there as well. If something can go wrong, roll the dice. What a easy way to sum up, like, so often it's like when someone wants to do something and there's a chance of it going wrong, roll the dice. If something can go wrong, you roll the dice. I like that. Nice, straightforward, simple. There are 2 types of rolls in this game. We have action rolls and we have reaction rolls. And we've got some interesting little icons here. No alt text as well. So action rolls. What you do is up to you. You're free to choose what attribute and skill is called into play. And describe your action and roll the dice. So interesting that the director doesn't choose. And then we've got the example here. So Johnny goes, I can't allow him to escape. I follow him with my eyes looking for a clean shot. And then I take it and I make an action roll in nerves plus shoot. Nice. The reaction roll. So the director tells you what is happening and how to react. So those are like saving throws, I guess. The attribute and skill you must use to deal with the situation is up to them. Nice, I like that. So it's like you proactive and reactive, and both the director and the heroes get to do stuff. I really like that. So the director says, you're completely hidden in the ventilation system when a mouse starts to walk right across your face. classic. That classic bit in the film. I mean, we all remember that bit in the film, don't we? Make a reaction roll in nerves plus cool to not react. After choosing an attribute and a skill, add up the 2 scores. The total is the number of dice you must roll. Positive or negative circumstances such as adrenaline, conditions, gear can modify your chances of success. So add 1 for each +1 and remove 1 for each -1. All things considered, you can never roll less than 2 or more than 9 dice. Right, so we have a cap on it. I like that. Interesting. And again, this border across the top there. Sorry, I didn't look at it properly before. I like that. So that is the name of the section. It goes across, and then you have that little icon there. I really like that. And look, now we have this this sidebar, but it's moved in. So like the text is shifted ever so slightly. So like so I like that. So like before, it's slightly wider middle text and then smaller margins, but here it's moved slightly, and it's used that theme of the manila folder. Really cool. I really like the vibes of this game. Right, zoom in. So what? Oops, I was going to say that's way too far. Kieran says that classic scene in Big Heist 17 where a squirrel tickles the hero's nose with a bushy tail and they have to resist sneezing. Hey, I like it. Maybe you could, like, I guess that's the thing. It doesn't matter about being human or not in these things. So maybe you could do like the bad guys, that DreamWorks animation where you're all animals doing a heist, or Zootopia, that similar thing, right? That'd be really great. So I know you were joking, Kieran, but I'm like, yeah, yes, and. So what's at stake? When facing a role, there's always something on the line. So having a clear image of what's at stake allows the director to determine what the consequences of a success or failure should be. Broadly speaking, a nice success means you reach your goal. You've done it once again. A failure, on the other hand, means things didn't go really as planned. You win some, you lose some. Alright, so it's just straight success or failure. So when you're making a roll, you must always use 1 attribute and 1 skill. Although skills are listed under the attribute they are most often paired with, bear in mind you can always use any skill with any attribute. So when shooting, you often roll with nerves plus shooting, and when throwing punches, you often roll brawn plus fight, but you can also use your imagination. To hit a goon after sneaking up behind them, you can roll crime plus fight. To find a way out while you're driving, you can roll nerves plus awareness. To make a good impression on someone with your sophisticated taste, you can roll smooth plus know. I like that. 3 different examples there of attributes that aren't paired with their skills that aren't normally paired with their attributes. Really cool. Ooh, here we go. So this is interesting. So Outgunned is meant to be played with special 6-sided dice. Each face on these dice sports an original symbol to make it easy to recognize successes. The action dice from Outgunned aren't needed to play, but they make for a more tailored experience. Alternatively, you can use a normal d6 dice and consider 1 as your snake eyes. So that's interesting. Didn't mention this earlier about the specific dice that you can buy. I didn't realize you could buy specific dice for it. Often customized dice can be tricky, and often it is a barrier to people actually wanting to play the games because you want to play it. But I feel like if you're going to use a d6, they're just going once, because we'll go into like what the mechanic is in a second. But yeah, I'm just like, that makes it just straightforward and stuff. So I guess it's nice that it hasn't mentioned that. It hasn't pushed that yet, but maybe it will do in the next couple of sections. So, roll difficulty. So the director is tasked with setting the difficulty for each roll. The higher the difficulty, the higher the success you need to pass the roll. There are 4 levels of difficulty. Basic is just a quick and easy action or reaction, like jumping over an obstacle, stealing keys off a distracted agent, throwing something. Then we have critical, which is a full action or reaction, like bursting through a sturdy door or jumping out of a window, earning someone's trust. Extreme. This is truly a demanding action or reaction, like pick the lock of a secure vault, shooting a speeding target at night in the pouring rain, persuading a sworn enemy to cooperate. And then we have the impossible. A desperate action or reaction, like calmly exiting a car in the middle of a 180 while shooting a tiny target, getting rid of a large group of enemies with nothing but a pencil. I've seen that film. Taking down a helicopter with a speeding car because you're running low on ammo. Stuff of movie trailers. Nice. There's some really fun examples there. Oh, look at this cool image down here as well. Ooh, with the dice. I like that. So most rolls worthy of a hero are critical rolls. Usually that should mean that the difficulty of your usually that should be the difficulty of your rolls and reactions. So critical. So yeah, so this one up here, that second option. Basic rolls are small fry challenges, whilst extreme rolls are what you make in tough situations. Impossible rolls are awfully rare, and you are clearly asking for it. So when you are making an especially complex or dangerous roll, the director can choose whether to set the double difficulty for it. This means the roll will have to have This means that the roll will have difficulty equal to 2 basic, 2 critical, or 2 extreme, but never 2 impossible. Jeez. And you will need 2 successes to pass the roll. This rule is more commonly applied to reaction rolls made to respond to multiple dangers, several people shooting you at once from all directions, but can also come into play for action rolls. For example, when you're trying to make an extremely long jump, or when you're trying to swindle someone who's wary of you. I just want to see this bottom image here. So again, this could have easily been on this page, and then we move on, but the fact they've gone, no, we'll split it out and we'll have this very beautiful cinematic sort of montage sort of thing of people doing stuff. It's really cool, and look at that blue in the background there. Very cool, and it feels like there's motion happening. Just again, no alt text, which is a shame. All right, let's work out how do we actually read the dice then. Okay, so you get a success for each set of 2 or more dice that land on the same side. So 2 bullets. Again, there's no alt text there, so we don't know. Are worth just as much as 2 cow heads and 3 hearts as much as 3 compasses. The symbols make no difference, so this is why the D6s actually work quite well. So there are 5 levels of success. Basic success is just 2 of a kind. Critical success is 3 of a kind. Extreme success is 4 of a kind. Impossible is 5 of a kind. And jackpot is 6 or more of a kind. So interesting, extreme success, that was if we spend an adrenaline as well, right? Interesting. I feel like you don't need... I don't know. I understand maybe why you want maybe icons, perhaps, because if you're not very good at maths or you're not sure about your numbers or anything like that, then that could work. So it may be easy to recognise and sort of match the pairs and threes of a kinds. So to pass the basic roll, you need just a basic success. And to pass an extreme roll, you need an extreme success. It's as simple as that. They've got an example here, but here they've got the example actually in a little, not box, but sort of indicates away from it, so we won't read that out loud. If you score a higher success than needed, the director can grant you an even better outcome than you wanted, or give you an important advantage. If you score a lower success, you can try to do something to mitigate, partially, the consequences of your failure. If you score more successes than needed, you can use them to take extra actions. And if you score a jackpot, you become the director for a turn. That's pretty cool. I really like that. Enjoy a chance to freely describe how your sensational actions take care of the situation and lead you to success. It's your turn to call the shots. And then the same thing here, we've got a beautiful, look at the colours of that image. Absolutely gorgeous, jacket there. I would love that jacket. So bright, that yellow as well. So 3, 1, 1, 3. So 1 greater success is worth as much as 3 much smaller successes, and 3 smaller successes are worth as much as 1 greater success. This means you can spend 1 critical success like 3 basic successes. Wait a minute, what are you talking? Yes, so 1 critical success. Wait, hang on. Sorry, my brain is not working. So 1 critical success is worth 3 basic success. Right? Yes, I understand. Oh, I understand the yes. And 1 extreme success, which is the 4, is worth 3 critical successes. Conversely, you can combine 3 basic successes into 1 critical success. Right, I get it. So again, a bit tricky. I might need like a diagram to show that perhaps, because I will absolutely forget that. But that's interesting to know the conversion rate, I guess. That's pretty cool. All right. Re-roll. Let's go in. Are we doing on time? We're doing okay on time. That's all right. So you can't always get it right on the first try. If after rolling dice you have scored at least one basic success, you can re-roll. Re-rolling drastically increases your odds of success, so I'd suggest you do it very often. So when re-rolling, you take all dice that weren't a part of a combination and roll them again. If after the re-roll your result is much better than the first, congratulations. Otherwise, you lose one of the previously scored successes. Oh no! That's the risk. That's the thing you have to pay. Oh, I love that. You can choose which of the successes though. Nice. Your new roll is considered better than the first if you roll an additional success, or if you transform one of your successes into a greater success. So here we've got some examples here. So, for a good example, we've got a basic success there out of 5 dice, and we re-roll 3 dice that don't and score. We score a better result because we get another matching one. I see. Interesting. Again, maybe we'd have some alt text just to describe this a little bit better, because obviously in my head I'm like, yeah, 2 1s, 3 1s, which is a critical success. However, for bad, if we got here, yeah, we didn't roll any, so we did not get a better result, and then for you would lose your only success, the basic success there. Nice. So some feats allow you to make free rerolls in specific circumstances, or when you take specific actions. So, for example, the Gunslinger feat grants you a free reroll whenever you're using, repairing, evaluating, or handling a gun, while the Military Training feat allows you to make free rerolls whenever you can rely on your military training, or call upon your in-depth knowledge of Army protocol or rank. A free reroll takes place of your normal reroll, but it's far better because when you make the free reroll, you never risk losing your initial success. It doesn't matter if the reroll gets a better or extra success or not. You can make a free reroll even if you didn't score any successes on your first roll. That's interesting. Oh, okay. Basically, you can make a free reroll. You should do it. There's no reason for you not to take that chance. Yeah, there's no disadvantage for you not to do it. And then we have all in. If after making a reroll or free reroll you get a better result, you can still choose to go all in. So once more, you roll all the dice that weren't part of success, like you would for a normal reroll. If you get a better result, Lady Luck has smiled upon you. But if you do not get a better result, you lose all previous successes. It's called going all in for a reason. This is cool. I really like the system. It's exciting. There's a little bit of like temptation to it, going, go on, let's just do it, go all in. And I like that idea of like all in. Again, really goes into that vibe of the casino, the heist, the poker games that you always see in these games. Again, using the image, we've already had that image before, but then just putting it here to be like, okay, we're going to fill that space. We're going to space it out. It's really good. I really like it. Okay, extra actions. So whenever you score extra successes, you can spend them to take extra actions, such as an extra basic... Oh, so this is what the levels are. So extra basic success, so that's a quick action. So you can grab or throw an item, reload a weapon, do something quick and easy. Extra critical success is a full action. So break through a door, get behind total cover, find a clue, or do something that requires moderate effort. An extreme success, we get an extra one of those, jumping off an exploding building without getting hurt. Oh, shooting a tiny target whilst running, place a bug on your sworn enemy, or do something unbelievably difficult. So that's a cool action. So quick, full, and cool. Again, I think I would definitely need like a reference sheet just to look at these things as well, and just be able to maybe again an example, of stuff would be good here. I think. But I like the idea. Concept's really cool. Feats that require quick or full actions can also be activated using extra successes. Nice. So being a hero means you can't always make good decisions, and in truth, you'll often end up doing something stupid in order to save the day. So when you need an extra edge, you can choose to act recklessly, putting yourself in the path of great dangers in order to gain a small advantage. So if you choose to take a gamble, immediately gain +1 to your action roll, but you will lose 1 grit for every snake eyes you roll. Okay, so presumably that's a 1 for your snake eyes. I think that's what it said before. Oh, I thought that was a compass symbol as well. It's the snake eyes. For this, consider only snake eyes remaining after any rerolls or all-in rolls you end up making. Right. Okay, that's a good clarification to have. When you rely on some some gear to help you, or when a friend uses that action to lend you a hand, you also receive a +1 to your roll. Simple, straightforward. Oh, great. These images are great. I really love the artwork here. There's so much character in them. So what could go wrong? If you're ever in doubt about which attribute or skill to use for a roll, ask yourself, what could go wrong? When you have a clear idea of the consequences of your failure, it'll be easier to think about a way to avoid them. You're driving at top speed towards a bridge and you see it rising, opening up. What can go wrong here? You could chicken out and stomp on the brakes at the very last second. So this means you should roll nerves plus cool. That's good. Straightforward, simple. I like it. Okay. You've rolled your dice, made a reroll, and basically did everything you could, but you still did not manage to score the success you truly needed. So what next? Well, first up, you get up and play it cool. Show the world what kind of cloth heroes are cut from. So when you are playing Outgunned, failure does not exist. Failure is simply a pothole on a long road, a winding, unpaved road that you must travel in order to reach your victorious goal. The job of a good director is to exploit failures and create moving, exciting, or exhilarating scenes without stopping the flow of the plot or grinding the game to a halt. When you fail, it simply means that things didn't go as planned. You have to work a bit harder in order to reach your objective. That's all. You search for a gun and find it. Unfortunately, it's unloaded and you didn't think to check before it was too late. You jump from the 4th floor and end up falling straight into a dumpster, but at least your bones aren't broken. You make doe eyes and get admitted to the VIP area, and they do let you through, only to point several guns at you. See? Failing can be very fun. Only defeat is when the game stops. What an interesting sort of philosophy it's got there. I like that. Like, okay, yeah, you still succeed, but you don't get damage for it. You don't get hurt necessarily, unless I guess it's in combat you get hurt. So I like that, and I like those examples as well. Again, that VIP area things where you get several guns pointed at you. That's such a classic trope for these games as well. Oh, and I just realised that's Alan Rickman's character in Die Hard, falling. Very good. I miss Alan Rickman. Ooh. 4 ways to fail with style. You're a director dealing with a failure? Here's 4 ways to have your heroes fail with style. So you can roll with the punches. The hero only gets a temporary or partial success, or they inadvertently set off unpleasant consequences that can either be immediately clear or come back to bite them later. So for example, you knock out all the goons and sneak into the party as if nothing happened. Unfortunately, a speck of blood on the tip of your left shoe risks giving you away at the worst possible time. Amazing, I like that. We also got pay the price. The hero still gets an awkward success but suffers a condition or loses some cash or gear in the process. So when you hear the goons coming in, you immediately jump into the air duct. You manage to hide just in time, but in the rush you forgot your rifle on the floor. You'll have to do without. Take the hard road. The hero doesn't get the success they wanted, but their failure allows them to notice a crucial detail, a clue that changes everything, or a hint at a different way. The new path will be harder and riskier than the first. The director says the cables fizzle, and spark, but nothing happens. You just can't get the car to start. But as you leave the garage, you spot a bike leaning on a wall. You better start pedaling. That kind of bike. And face danger. The hero ends up in a dramatic situation and is forced to make a dangerous roll. Alternatively, they end up face to face with a danger or an enemy. So it says here, after several blows, the door finally falls and you are free. Unfortunately, the noise caught the attention of the big bag thug who's now waiting for you at the exit. Get ready to fight. Kieran says, I really like the advice on how to determine which attributes to use. In a game with so many options, it's a really intuitive way to work things out. I agree, and I really like, for me, it was that sort of thing where your action roll and reaction roll. The action roll was like, yeah, it's up to the player to do. And then, what is the worst consequence? And go, oh, well, I might chicken out. And you're like, right, so that's nerves plus cool. Because, sometimes you're like, I have no idea. And often you probably go to, oh, well, I'm best at this. It doesn't make sense. and then the director's like, it's a way for people to start like looking at the character sheet and thinking about what's happening out here instead of what's down here. And then the reaction role of the director, I quite like that as well. So it's less work on the director constantly asking for stuff. Yeah, I like that. Let's see this two-page view. How cool is that? Look at that car in the back. Incredible. I love that. I like how we had different scenes. We had like someone, all the guns around them. We've had them a shootout in the middle of the road. Now we have a chase. So this is going to be where we're going to look at the chases and stuff. So that's pretty cool. All right. Cool. We might. She says, touch wood. We might get through this section. So we've only got a little bit left. So dangerous roles. There is no easy way to say this. If you want to be a hero, you probably have to deal with some bad guys trying to shoot at you. And turn you into mincemeat, to throw you off buildings or to blow you up, car and all. The most ingenious of them could leave you tied to a table with a laser cutter inching closer to your face. Most of the time, it doesn't work. When you take an action or a reaction that puts your life or safety on the line, you will have to make a dangerous roll. Excuse me, let me try to have some water. Jumping off a burning building, running through a hail of bullets, escaping from an explosion, and hiding from a team of armed soldiers are all perfect examples of dangerous roles. From now on, we'll represent dangerous roles with this symbol, which is a skull symbol. How interesting! It is really like, again, walking you through everything, but it's not patronizing. It's just sort of like, here, it feels very familiar and friendly. This means that when you read action roll with a skull or reaction roll with a skull, you're making a dangerous roll. So right, it's just like a subcategory of it. Also, look at that great! I love the bullet holes in the jacket. That's so cool. And and then the seat. Oh, very good, very good. I like that. I think the only thing I would say, I would like a few more femme-presenting characters. I know we've had a couple, but these ones, these big things I think we've had one that's been like a full pitch shot, and obviously we had the one with the person with the guns surrounding them. These ones were there seems to be a lot of male presenting folks. Just from a glance, maybe I'll be wrong, and the rest of the book won't be like that. But I'm just like going like, that could be a femme presenting person. Yeah, but what's the difference? So the difference between a normal roll and a dangerous roll is that if you fail a dangerous roll, you don't face the usual consequences for failing. So that's sort of like you fail, but the story still moves on. Instead, you lose a set amount of grit depending on the difficulty. Oh wow! Sorry. The basic, you lose 1 grit. Critical, you lose 3 grit. Extreme, you lose 9 grit. And then impossible, you lose all of your grit. I presume that's your health, right? We have 12, and you have 12 boxes of grit as well. So when you lose an amount of grit, you must fill in the equal number of grit boxes on your hero sheet. Once all the boxes full, that means you have lost your grit, and your next mistake could prove fatal. All right, we're not going to read the example, because that's not what we do. Grit is what makes you a hero. When anyone else would run into a panic, surrender, or give up hope, you can just get back up and keep fighting for what is right. Again, it's that very cinematic, very sort of hero saves the day sort of mode. Grit is represented by a line of 12 boxes. So whenever you fail a dangerous roll, you fill in a set number of boxes and stand back up after your failure. Are they shooting at you? You keep running through the bullets with the occasional cosmetic scratch on your cheek as the biggest damage. Did the room blow up? You jump out at the last second and your jacket is the only victim. Did they punch you in the face? You stand back up with a defiant grin. You can do this all day. Even if you lose grit, it doesn't mean you become more compliant. Quite the opposite. Filling in grit boxes only represents how many times your determination has managed to save your life. When you make a dangerous roll and fail to score the successes you need, you can use any smaller successes to do damage control. You can take some small desperate action to try and avoid losing at least some grit. It's better than doing nothing at all. So for every basic score you grit, you can avoid losing 1 grit, and for every critical one, you can avoid losing 3 grit. But when you make an impossible dangerous roll, you cannot do any damage control. Right, so this is all or nothing. Damn. So, we have special boxes. So 2 grit boxes are different from the others. We have the bad box, which is the 8th box. And the last box, which is the hot box. See, again, it's just described what it is as well. I wonder, okay, we'll look at the character sheet in a second. I wonder if it shows it on the character sheet. So the bad box is the 8th box, is the bad box. When you fill in this box, you suffer a condition determined by the director. The last box is the hot box. When you fill in this box, you immediately get a rush of 2 adrenaline. It's now or never. Ooh, I like that. It's literally like it's your last moment, your last action. You get the 2 adrenaline to do something on your action. Do something with your action. It's pretty good. Okay. Death roulette. So when you lose an amount of grit equal to or greater than the number of grit boxes still open, fill in all the grit boxes. You have now lost your grit. Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, whenever you go to 0 grit boxes. The really cool thing is that as long as you have a single open grit box remaining, you have nothing to fear. It doesn't matter how great your next failure may be, the worst that can happen to you is that you lose your grit. When you have no more grit, you're in big trouble. Your next failure is to roll a dangerous roll, will force you to spin on the death roulette. Sounds cool, right? Roll a numeric 6-sided dice. If the result is greater than the number of lethal bullets in your roulette, you've had a narrow escape. Just add a lethal bullet to your roulette and keep on playing. The result is equal to the number of lethal bullets in your roulette or lower. I'm afraid to say that you'll be left for dead unless a friend saves you at the last second using one of their spotlights. When you get left for dead, you bow out. Don't dwell on this. I will discuss it more in Outgunned, the core book. So there you go. So left for dead is just that's it. Done. Interesting. And then recovering grit. 3 ways to recover it. We sleep on it. We'll feel just like new, so we just get it all back. Catch a break at the end of a breathtaking scene. You're breathtaking. And after you face a long string of dangers, the director can give you a break to allow the heroes to recover their grit. And after a shot, at the end of a gaming session, the heroes can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Right. Do you just recover it? All of it? Okay. I guess so. You just recover all of your grit, right? You don't roll for it. So, fists and bullets. You know, that famous TV show? You can try talking with your enemies, but they will never listen. Wise guys like the ones who become a villain's lackeys or goons only understand 2 words. Fists and bullets. If you want to save the day and prove you are a hero worthy of an action movie, you better learn how to fight. In Outgunned, you'll find several tools to personalize your gaming experience and set the stage for adrenaline-pumping fights and chases. For now, I'll just try to teach you the basics at least. Nice. Okay, so this is the combat. Oh, wow, look at that image. Gorgeous. Hang on, let me do the 2-page one. Okay, I thought it was going to go for a bigger one, but that's pretty good, isn't it? I love it. So we have combat. So during combat, regardless of whether it's a shootout or a nice fist fight, there are 2 alternating turns. Action turns. The heroes are free to take any action they want and make the relevant action rolls. Additionally, all heroes can take a quick action roll. So, yeah, so something that's very small. The reaction turns. So the director states the enemy's actions and all heroes must defend themselves with a dangerous reaction roll. Straightforward. Alright. If the heroes are first to attack, combat begins with an action turn. If the heroes are caught by surprise, the combat begins with a reaction turn. Oh, okay. When in doubt, the dice reactor. The director can rely on the dice roll. Action turns and reaction turns keep alternating until the heroes manage to defeat the enemies or until the opposite happens or until combat is interrupted. The action turn. So during an action turn, every hero makes a quick action for free, as well as an action roll. A hero can choose whether to use their quick action before or after their action roll. When taking a quick action, a hero can grab or toss an object, reload a weapon, reach an enemy who is in close range, or take another quick, easy action. When making an action roll, on the other hand, a hero can take any kind of complex action, including attacking the enemy. To attack an enemy, the hero must successfully make a roll with difficulty equal to the enemy's defense. So for every success of that level you score, the enemy loses 1 grit. If you're attacking an enemy with a basic defense and score 2 basic successes, the enemy loses 2 grit. If you score a critical success, they lose 3 grit. Nice. Okay. Fairly straightforward so far. I guess it could get a little bit nitty gritty if you go, wait, I've got 3 basic successes. I'm going to bump it up to I mean, it doesn't matter too much, does it? Yeah, so if you bump it up to the 1 critical success, it'll still lose 3. So it doesn't, yeah, the math still works out. So, and then the reaction turn. So during a reaction turn, the director describes the action of the enemies and asks all heroes involved to make a dangerous combat roll. This means that all reaction rolls I've just said that, are dangerous rolls. What else did you expect? When facing an enemy, the difficulty of reaction rolls is equal to the enemy's attack. So if you fail, you have to lose some grit, but you can still spend smaller successes to do some damage control. And if you score some extra successes equal to the enemy's defense, you can even strike back. For every counterattack you manage to land, the enemy loses 1 grit. Seems fairly straightforward so far in terms of the back and forth of this. Again, probably would have to run this combat through a little bit just to get a good sense of it, but yeah, quite like it so far. Bang, bang, bang. You can't solve all your problems by shooting at them, but when kind words, stealthy approaches, and good old fists just don't cut it, the one thing left to do is to make it rain bullets. Here you'll find some tips and general rules about firearms. In Outgunned itself will expand on these rules and give useful examples and advice. For now, you can just make do and start shooting. Start shooting. Range. What's ranged in Outgunned? First of all, it's how you determine how many actions or turns you need to reach your target, and then that's how you determine whether your weapons give you a bonus or penalty to your roll. When you're shooting or getting shot at, the director decides the range by choosing between the following. So here we've got the different ranges. So melee is within 2 meters or 2 yards of you. Close is 2 to 10 meters. Medium is 10 to 15 meters. Long is up to 300 meters, and out of range is beyond 300 meters. And we've got the little things between, little prerequisites between them. So you can reach someone in close range with a quick action. You can reach in 1 turn or with an extra full action. Reach to 2 to 3 turns, etc. Very good. There's a few weapons that can shoot out of range, such as a sniper rifle. Cover. So far, it's just getting to the point. It's just like, this is what you need to know. Next. It feels very straightforward. Sometimes when we get to these things and it talks about combat, or it talks about weapons and all that, it takes blooming ages. And this is my pet hate, because I really dislike it, because I feel like it's like, we then get ourselves out of the immersion. But I wonder if it's been deliberately designed to be quick and easy to learn. Obviously, it's a quick start, but also just the way it looks as well. Often with these quick starts, sometimes you have the 2-column thing, which I absolutely despise, because it feels like it's more reading, even though it isn't. Here, it's just like all on one page. It's like, okay, we're going to talk about range, cover. On the next page, we'll talk about maybe damage and what that means. Well, probably doesn't mean anything. We've already done the dangerous reaction rolls and we're losing grit. So yeah, so just straightforward, and we're only on like 40 pages, so that's pretty good. Anyway. So if you dive behind cover, you increase your chances of dodging enemy bullets, but at the same time, you decrease your chances of hitting the enemy. So it's up to you. So partial cover gets a +1 to reaction rolls, but -1 to action rolls. And you can reach these with a quick action, and then total cover is automatic success on reaction rolls, but a -3 on action rolls. You can reach it by using your entire turn or using an extra full action with those successes. Mags. So in Outgunned, we do not keep track of bullets. For every weapon you carry, you can rely up to 3 mags +1 in the gun. And there's 3 ways to empty a mag. Failure, if you fail to roll to shoot, you lose 1 mag. You have to reload it again to shoot, and that's a quick action. Going full alter, emptying a mag against your enemies to gain +1 to the roll. And then covering fire, shooting in all directions to force your enemies to keep their heads down. Your friends, not you, gain a +1 to their next reaction roll. Nice. Oh, look, again, really nice way of just putting the guns there to fill up that space. Guns akimbo. Who hasn't dreamed of jumping out with 1 gun in each hand? Surely, I won't stop you. When you're shooting with 2 guns, you do not get any bonuses but can rely on double the mags. This means you can lay down covering fire and shoot, or go full auto in the same round to gain +2 on your roll. You cannot lay covering fire and full auto at the same time, though. Let's be serious. Amazing. Okay, here we go. Enemy stats now. So in Outgunned, you will face 3 kinds of enemies: goons, bad guys, and bosses. Goons are a dime a dozen as enemies. They're minor lackeys who rarely pose an actual threat to heroes like you. Bad guys are the most common enemies. Well-trained henchmen or well-armed soldiers who give you a hard time on your adventure. And bosses are big bad evil guys you shouldn't mess with. The kind of enemy you face in the showdown at the end of a campaign. In Outgunned, most enemies are small, or in brackets large, groups of pretty tough opponents, such as a single enemy is usually more than enough for a group of heroes. In the end, if you're fighting for good, you're most likely punching up. In Outgunned, you'll find several goons, bad guys, and bosses organized into classes of increasing difficulty, as well as rules to personalize, boost, and make them into a real challenge for heroes. Okay. Enemy attributes. So every enemy can rely on a set of number of grit boxes, on an attack score, and on a defense score. So we talked about this before. So here we've got an example of the bad guys. So it's a critical, so they have a so the reaction is that you have to get a critical success with 3 of a kind, and the same for to hit them as well, so critical. So you need to have the 3 of a kind for those ones as well. And here we've got 9 boxes, and there's 2 like fire ones for certain ones, so maybe you're going to get something extra. So when you're attacking an enemy, you're looking to score a success equal to their defense, so that critical success. So for every success of that level you score, the enemy loses 1 grit. Once the director has filled in that last grit box, the enemy is KO. During the reaction turn, all heroes involved in combat must make a reaction roll with equal difficulty equal to the enemy attack score, so that critical one again. Enemy resources. How are we doing on time? Okay, it's past. Alright, we'll do another 10 minutes. I think we're almost to the end of this section, so not too bad. Enemies can rely on 1 or more feat points, which the director can spend to buy enemy feats. Some enemy feats represent additional characteristics like big and strong, unstoppable, or stealthy. Others represent special equipment like machete, bulletproof vest, or flamethrower. Buying new feats allows the director to tailor the enemies they put into play, so they always give the heroes something different to face, or throw a spanner in their works. All's fair in action and war. Some bad guys and bosses also have hot boxes, so that's what the flame thing was before, amongst their grit boxes. When they fill in a hot box, the director receives 1 adrenaline, which they can spend whenever they make a special action. The special actions that cost 1, 2, or 3 adrenaline. The director is free to choose whether to use the adrenaline immediately or stockpile it to make deadly special actions towards the end of combat. So adrenaline, you can have up to 6, I think. That's what it said. In Outgunned, you'll find a long list of enemy feats and special actions, as well as everything you need to get the best out of them. And then we have Weak Spot. You can use your action roll as well as some specific feats to find the enemy's weak spot. When you look for an enemy's weak spot, the director must simply roll a die and refer to one on the applicable table to find an Outgunned. Ooh. The result of the roll will determine the weak spot. We'll ignore weak spots for now, but you will find everything you need to bring them into play in Outgunned. I like that idea that you roll for it. That's quite fun rather than making it up. That's pretty good. And then what we've got here, cannon fodder. You're a director. You need enemies. You don't have time to read the list. Lucky for you, we have cannon fodder. Cannon fodder is an opponent with 9 grit box, 2 basic attack, basic defense, and that's it. No feats, no special actions. You can also try the spicier version with two critical attack and defense. So that's critical, yeah. If you're in a hurry or whenever in doubt, serve them some cannon fodder. What a great little bit of advice. Pretty good. And we've got need for speed. Alright, I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I think we've got the general gist. I think I'm glad we've done the combat bit. I'm just going to zoom forward a little bit through because I'm just aware of time, but I need to go off and do stuff. So we've got the stuff about car chasing, which is quite cool. I'm glad there's stuff for car chasers as well. It makes sense for this sort of game, winning and losing. And then cinematic campaign. So we've got all the stuff here. And we've got a mission sheet as well. That's pretty cool. So then something for the director to work with. What's that? And we've got heat as well. So that must be like some sort of clocks. That's pretty good. I like that little bit of organisation. Look, there's support characters there and contacts and clues. How cool. Yeah, what's your plan B? Also actually making a character like have a way to escape. Nice. Okay, great. And an introductory one shot. So we weren't that close. We weren't that far off from finishing it. Let's look at this image. Gosh. Oh, see, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. It's very cool. You can see like the burning secret facility on an island there. Nice. And then we've got this one shot, which we'll just go through. We've got, oh, look at that. We've got the, okay, so it's all these are the sort of iconics, the pre-gens that we've got in here as well. Again, would be good if like, so those are the 4 pre-gens. Again, maybe you know what I'm thinking with pronouns and all that sort of thing. Maybe you can change the names, you can change the pronouns to be whatever you like. They've got some good characters to them. I quite like them. Oh, that's really cool as well. Just looking at this, again, just the layout. We're not looking at it in too much detail. We've got the scene, so like what is happening, almost like a script on the left-hand side, and then we've got some advice for the GM, for the director on the right as well. So that's pretty cool as well. Like giving you some top tips, like keeping it spread out like that. So it does this all the time. Like the most important stuff for the adventure, like to run it, is on the left, and here's something else that you could think about actively doing it. So I think that's really interesting. Yeah, all the way through scene 5. Oh, and here's the character sheets. So let me flip it around so people can see. Nice. Okay. So yeah, they're almost like fold sheets. So yeah, everything's on one page. So that's pretty good as well. You've got the mission to retrieve the briefcase. Oh wait, is it not going to move me forward? I was going to say better move me forward, so it leaves 4 as well. There we go. Cool. And then we've got our own one we can use here to make our own stuff. Nice. So there you go. That is, and that's fully funded now as well. Is this all ready to go? Ooh, let's go back to that. There we go. So sorry, whistle stop told. We missed like the last couple of bits, but I wanted to get to the end. I wanted to check this out. So there you go. That is Outgunned. What did we make of it, folks? What did we make? I'm quite impressed. I think it's the first quick start for a little while. We've seen that it's got a really good layout, feels very intuitive, and a brand new system, which I'm actually quite keen to try that out. Like I said, I'm not necessarily an action person. I'm not a big fan of those ones, but they are in the zeitgeist just now. Like I said, Never Stop Blowing Up is quite a big one just now in terms of Dimension 20. So people are going back into doing heist stuff. You know, and I've, you know, all the films that sort of mentioned, like Ocean's 11, John Wick, you know, people really enjoy those films, so it makes sense. Maybe as a one-shot, you'd want to do something like that. I really love this idea of the director's cut, the matching dice stuff. Again, just getting used to it would be good. I like how it doesn't rely necessarily on the customized dice. Like it doesn't force you to buy that. So obviously, as a quick start, it needs you to play it with D6s. So very straightforward there, and very straightforward in terms of giving like attributes and skills, and then making it like the action rolls are what the players choose, and then the reaction rolls is what the director chooses. Again, just a couple of typos. Nothing too much. Like little bits and pieces. I really love the artwork. Would be nice to have more femme presenting folks put into the art, but again, you know, I appreciate it is a quick start, and I'm sure there'll be lots more art in that. But overall, I'm actually really impressed. Would also be nice to have some alt text as well. I'm actually really impressed by this. It's something very different, something I would not normally have picked up. And I'm quite glad then that people saw that at the Ennies and gave it silver for best game and for best product of the year. So that's really interesting, and it feels very different compared to stuff. And maybe it's a shame. Maybe we need to look at Shadow Dark at some point and see why that got you know, gold Ennies for best game and best product of the year as well. But you know, honestly, absolute hats off to Two Little Mice Studios. Honestly, it's really well designed and really good quick start. I believe in the and apparently according to the chat, yeah, there's a Discord bot that you could use for it. That's very cool. I mean, I got this off DriveThruRPG, so let me put that link again. And it is pay what you want as well. I didn't see any character sheets that could be separated. That was the only thing. And no form fillable ones. I'm sure maybe I've missed that, but if so, that's the only again, just another thing to think about. Honestly, really good layout, really good writing. You know, actually, it felt a good strike between the tone of like what we're trying to do here, but also like giving that information and also explaining stuff like, hey, you'll see this on your sheet. You don't need to worry about that. If you want to know more about it, go into the core book. But making it simple and concise, I think that shows how well written this quick start is. On top of that, I'd say as well, well done on making the combat section short and important. Like, because that's the one thing I absolutely despise is when combat and gear and weapon stuff, and it's got loads of pages, and it's like, I want to get playing. I don't want to get stuck trying to work out stuff. So honestly, absolute kudos. It sounds like a good game. I would 100% run this quick start for where I'm going to put it on the list, I think, because it's something very different. It leans into that silliness and like I really, really like it. So absolute kudos there. So there you go, folks. That was Outgunned. Please go check it out. Again, the free quick start is available on Drive for RPG, or sorry, pay what you want. I shouldn't say free, pay what you want. And yet silver Ennies for best game and best product of the year. So please go check that out. All right, team. That's us for today. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to rush off and start making some food because I have not done that, and I need to do that for this evening. But in the meantime, if you've enjoyed this, I hope you have, come check out What Am I Rolling, which is a twice monthly tabletop RPG one-shot podcast. I would really love it if you start checking it out soon. Big announcement happening in a couple of weeks, but can't say anything about it just yet. But equally, if you're like, Fiona, I've just come back from watching the D&D Direct. What's going on here? We've also got the DM's Book Club as well, so check out the DM's Book Club for D&D related stuff. We usually do like bits of lore, bits of settings, stuff like that. It's just something that interests us and puts it into any sort of role-playing campaign. So go check that out. If you want to keep up to date with what's happening in general, check out the Discord. That's our Discord for Where and DM's Book Club, where we talk about all things RPG related. And we've got another one of these Too Long Didn't Read tabletop RPG streams happening. She says, trying to find it. No, that one's already happening. I know it's happening. Interesting. So this week on Thursday, we're going to be doing Cogs, Cakes, and Sword Sticks. That was the other one that came up on my random number generator. So it's Cogs, Cakes, and Sword Sticks is a game of steampunk pulp adventures designed to be played in the comforts of your very favourite tea shop with your own friends and require nothing more than an imagination, pen, napkins, and a sugar cube. Should a six-sided dice not be readily forthcoming? I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of steampunk, I'll be honest, for various reasons. But you know what? Always happy to give it a go, so that's why we're going to put it on Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. BST. I'm just going to do the same thing as we always do, sort of read through and see what we like and what we don't like it. So that is going to be Cogs, Cakes, and Sword Sticks. And then we've got a few others in the next couple of weeks, but like I said, we're going to try and stick to Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we're just going to go from there. Right, chaps and chapesses, and those who have yet to decide and all the wonderful things. Thank you so much, friends. I very much appreciate you being here. I hope this has been interesting, very interesting. I feel very informed about this. I feel very pumped up to actually maybe look into it a bit more. But I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a wonderful rest of your week, wherever you are in your little neck of the woods. I'll find the stream end button. There it is. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!